guys! So today's video is, I don't know, kind of vloggy I guess. I've been watching lots of people do sort of reading resolutions, New Year's resolutions type thing, and until now I didn't really have any New Year's resolutions, but I have been inspired, so I'm going to film a video just about my reading slash New Year's resolutions. I only have two, because I agree with some people that if you want to do something like lose weight, you don't need to wait until the beginning of a new year to do that. No. Yeah, so generally if I want to do something, I try and do it instantly. Yeah, but these are things that I want to do this year more than anything else. This year I would like to read 50 books ideally, but I'm going to aim for 40 because that way if I don't make 50 and I still make 40, then I've still done it, and that's good enough for me. Last year I realised that I only read 16 fiction books, which is quite upsetting because it doesn't really feel like a lot. Since I started going to university, I'm in my third year now, my reading has really, like, for recreational purposes, has really fallen behind. I used to read a lot more when I was in high school. Um, so I want to get back up on that. I think it's because I read so much for university, like so much non-fiction, so many textbooks, journal articles, that kind of thing. During term time especially, it really puts me off picking up another book when I'm relaxing. I want to watch TV or just sleep, or I feel bad that I'm reading and it's not uni stuff that I'm reading. So yeah, but this year there's going to be none of that. I'm going to read at least 40 books, just you wait. My second resolution is to finish books that I've already started. Not to say I'm going to read books if I don't like them. If I don't like a book, then I'm not going to finish reading it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I never bothered reading books that I didn't enjoy when I was younger, and I think it went partly to my love of reading because I wasn't put off reading by being forced to read books by my parents or other people. I just read what I wanted to read, and it really encouraged my love of reading. But at the same time, I have this really weird habit of not finishing books that I do like. Here I have a pile of books, all of which I really enjoying or had really enjoyed when I started reading them, but I haven't finished. Some of these, this one at the bottom, I got when I turned 18. I'm 20. I've not finished it and it's been 2 years, and it's not a bad book. So yeah, this year is going to be the year I finish these books, and I think if I tell everybody on the internet that I'm going to finish them, then I will feel an obligation because I won't have just thought it in my head. One is Sherlock Holmes: The Veiled Detective by David Stuart Davies. This I am here on, so I've read more than half of this book, but for some reason I haven't finished it. I've got my little Anne Frank bookmark in there from when I was in Amsterdam. Yeah, so I'm hopefully going to finish this. This is a Sherlock Holmes novel. It's a retelling of A Study in Scarlet by a modern author, and it is fascinating, and I'm sure I will have a very good review of this once it's over. Next is Carpe Jugulum, which I actually didn't start that long ago. I started this, I think, at the beginning of December-ish, around that time, but I have sort of put it down because I've started other books, which is another problem. I tend to start too many books at once, and then some get left behind and neglected while I read other ones. I am here in this book, so I have only read maybe a quarter of it, but it's really good, and I do plan on finishing this one quite soon. Next is Homer's Odyssey. This is an epic poem, and I'm sure most of you have heard of it. It's quite, like, a big book, reasonably so, and I am here in it, so I've read very little, really, but so far I'm enjoying it. But I did start this again a couple of months ago, so I think I need to finish this soon, especially since I did classics at university. It's a bit ridiculous I haven't read this. I've read the Iliad and everything, but Next is Edgar Allan Poe's The Murder in the Rue Morgue and Other Stories. I have read The Murder in the Rue Morgue, but I haven't read any of the other stories in here. I think there's 3 altogether, so I've read about a third of it because I've read one of the stories, and I think I would have liked, it's not in the same way that I haven't really finished this book because it is different stories, so that's not really an issue, but I would like to read the other 2 in here, so hopefully, yeah. Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World. As I've mentioned before, I'm a massive Sherlock Holmes fan. This is the only other thing that I've ever started by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle that wasn't Sherlock Holmes. But again, it's a similar writing style. It's really enjoyable what I've read this much, so about, again, a third of it. What's the bookmark in here? Oh, it's my boarding pass from EasyJet from Paris to Edinburgh. Yeah. So hopefully I'll finish this because it's one of those ones as well. If I feel like that's when I started reading it, when I went to Paris, when I was in Paris, and that was, let me just tell you, that was the 18th of August 2011. So it's been over a year. So this year, this is getting finished. The next 2 I can kind of understand why I haven't finished them. One is Varney the Vampire by James Malcolm Rymer. This was written in the 1800s. It's one of the sort of like original vampire stories, just in the sense that it was written such a long time ago and it's very traditional kind of vampire. It's not that Twilight nonsense. Yeah, but it is massive. It was originally written as parts in a newspaper, so that's kind of why I guess it's built up to be this. Like, what? And I apparently bookmarked it with a chocolate coin wrapper. Right, I need to buy some bookmarks, guys. Yeah, I've read 34 pages of this, but again, it's very small text, and I think it's going to be one of those books that is going to take a long time to read. If I don't finish this one this year, I'm not going to feel too ashamed. Last but not least is the other big one that I was talking about. It's 13 and a Half Lives of Captain Bluebeard by Walter Moors. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. He's a German author. This is obviously a translation into English because I cannot speak German as much as I would like to. And it's sort of like a children's book for adults, if that makes sense. Like, the characters are kind of childish characters. It centers around this blue bear, as you might tell from the title, and it's 13 and a half lives. So each chapter is one of his lives, and it's just a section in his life, and each thing that happens is very different. They're not like real lives, but like as in different times in his life that are all very different. Currently, I have read this much of it, which is quite a reasonable amount. It's 164 pages, but the book itself is 690 something. So it's not enough. But it's got really interesting typography, visual images, obviously images are visual, but the kind of things you would find in a child's book, but at the same time you couldn't read it if you're a child. It's written for adults. The humour is something I doubt you would understand if you were like under like 10, and yeah, it's a really good book. I got this for, again, my 18th, like I said, my 18th birthday, so it's been a long time. But at the same time, I do feel like you can read every chapter separately because they're almost like individual stories. So it's not really been a problem there. But I would really like to finish this book this year because I feel like it's, you know, when you feel a book could be one of your favourite books ever, I feel like this is what this could be, but I've not finished it, so I can't really say that yet. So I'd really like to finish this. Yeah, so those are all my books I've started and need to finish this year, hopefully. How many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books, 7 unfinished books. That's my New Year's resolution. So 7 of those can be added to my total of 40, hopefully, and I can read another 23. So yeah, those are my reading resolutions, I guess. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've read any of the books I mentioned here and have any idea where I should start, maybe one of the smaller ones, then let me know, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye!